On the next misalignments, we're going to be working on temple misalignments. We're going to be we're going to be identifying temple misalignments on the patient, how to identify them and how to correct them. The first temple misalignment that we're going to be working with is going to be the temple spread. So with the temple spread, just by looking at the frame, I noticed that this temple is more outwards than this temple. This is camera view. This side. Right, when I put it on the patient, I do notice that this side, so the side that is more outwards, is actually closer to the temple side, to the patient's face. So I see that this whole side is actually closer to the patient than this side, okay? So because the right side, this side is closer, that's gonna be the side that I'm gonna be bringing in. I could either bring this side inwards, the right side inwards, or the left side outwards. But we are gonna be working with the right side because I noticed that it's the one that has the outward temple as well. Temple should be more or less 85 to 90 degrees angle, and this one is much more. We are gonna be using the nylon half padded plier, this one right here. I'm gonna be putting the metal portion on the inside and the nylon part on the outside so it doesn't scratch the frame. Okay, so I'm gonna be putting pressure with my fingers. So I'm gonna be using my fingers as a tool and the actual plier as a tool. And I am gonna be turning away from me like so. That way I could close the temple. So I am gonna be moving a little bit. I'm gonna be checking my work. Okay, it looks better. It's forming like a UM form to it, and the temples look a lot more parallel. When I put it on the patient, I noticed that is much better. Now I'm not seeing that difference. I'm not seeing the difference. Okay. That was temple spread. Now we're going to be working with temple parallelism. So I am going to be putting it on the patient's face first. What I notice is patient comes in and I notice that this side of the frame right here, this side, it looks like it's more up than this side. This side looks like it's like falling on this side. So what I can do, I have two options. I could either raise this side upwards or lower this side downwards, okay, in order to fix the misalignment. I am gonna be using the wide angling plier right here. What I'm gonna be working on this side, okay? I'm gonna be working on this side just because on this one it's missing a screw, okay? But when I do put it on the table, I also notice that it's wobbly, okay? Which another indication of temple parallelism. I check the bridge to see if there's anything wrong with the bridge. There's nothing wrong with the bridge, so it has to be the temple parallelism. So using my wide angling plier, what I'm gonna do is, since the right side was more up, that's the side that I'm gonna raise up, okay? So I'm gonna be using it this way. So I'm gonna be putting pressure with my fingers right here on the end piece. And I'm just gonna push it upwards. Push it upwards. Okay, so I'm gonna check on the table. It's a lot more even right now. And when I actually put it on the patient's face, now it's not as falling. We see a little bit of a difference because it doesn't have a little bit of a screw, but it's a lot more straighter than before when it had temple parallelism. The next alignment that we're going to be looking at is going to be this alignment. This alignment, we put it on patient comes into the optical. What I notice on this alignment is, if I put it right here, facing me, what I notice is that it has too much pantoscopic tilt, okay? I am noticing that it has a lot more than what it should have, okay? So I could even check it with my little chart right here, okay? And I noticed that it has a little bit too much. So what I am gonna do is, I could be using a wide angling plier to remove a little bit of the pantoscopic tilt to it. On this case, I am gonna be using my fingers, okay? because the frame, it is a little bit hard, okay? So that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it hard here, and I am going to press upwards, okay, like that, okay? And this side too. So I'm gonna be holding it hard, and I'm gonna be pushing it upwards. Okay. So it still does have pantoscopic tilt, as we can see. It still has pantoscopic tilt. It has approximately, if I put the center right here on my paper, it has approximately around 10 degrees of pantoscopic tilt. So it's good. Now I put it on the patient's face, and it looks a lot better than it did before. That is how to check for pantoscopic tilt. On the pantoscopic tilt as well, I noticed that the patient needed it because it was almost touching the cheeks here. If the cheeks would have been here on the patient, it would have been touching on the cheeks. So just to demonstrate that, I will demonstrate it right now. So if this was our patient, the cheeks right here would have already been touching, and that's why I remove the pantoscopic tilt, and the patient still has pantoscopic tilt, but it doesn't have as much pantoscopic tilt. Okay. The next one would be this misalignment. It is retroscopic tilt. So if the patient comes in, okay, and the frame looks like this, I could already tell that it has retroscopic tilt. We're not even supposed to be having retroscopic tilt. This just means that the lens is further away from the cheeks and it's closer to the eyes or the eyebrows of the patient. So it's this type of angle, okay? So in order to remove that, what I'm gonna do, again, I could use my wide angling plier, but in this case, I will use my finger because the frame end, the frame front and the end piece, it's a little bit too hard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just bring it down right here. Now it looks a lot nicer. This is one side. This is the other side right here. See? So I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay. Now they're both looking a little bit better. Okay. So now when I put it on the patient, I could tell that I removed the retroscopic tilt. Now they're both even. Yes, now they're both even. It has a little bit of pantoscopic tilt, but that's okay. But we removed the retroscopic tilt. The next misalignment we're going to be checking on the patient is going to be this one. Okay, so from what I could tell right here, just by looking at it, I see that the temple bend does not go all the way down. It stops right here. So if the patient's ear was right here, all of this would probably be showing. Also, I could tell that the temple bend has an almost 90-degree angle going down when it's supposed to have like a 45, close to your finger type of angle. So what we could do, in this case, we could heat it up since it has a little metal, but the material allows me to because I double check it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna straighten it out. As you can see right here, see all that is not supposed to be there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stretch it out like this with my finger here, like that with my finger, using my finger as the mold. See, now it looks a lot better. It has a 45 angle, and if I put my finger, it has a little bit more. So I'm gonna do a little bit more right here, and now it's good. See, there's no space between the finger and the temple bend. Again, I am gonna do the same thing here. So I'm gonna stretch it out using my fingers as my tool. Okay, I'm gonna double check. No, oh yeah, it's still a little bit. So now I'm gonna check again to see that there is no more space. Okay, so there is no space. I try it on the patient, and now it sits way better. It's not sitting like this anymore, the way it was at first. Now it's sitting down on the patient's ears. Okay, and that was the temple band misalignment. Okay, the last misalignment that we're gonna be working on is going to be the temple fold. So the temple, we have fixed everything on the glasses. We need to double check that everything is good. On this frame, I could see that it has a little bit of temple parallelism, as you could see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix that. Okay, because the temple fold is the last adjustment. That is when we have checked everything, nothing has changed, everything is good, all adjustments have been done well. Doing a little bit of temple spread. Okay, it still has a little bit of temple parallelism, so I'm using my wide angling plier in order to raise that up a little bit. Okay, now it's better, it's good. Okay, I'm looking at the bridge, okay, to see if it has any misalignments on the bridge. Everything is good on the bridge. I close it, and I have this. So that patient comes in, he gets his case. It doesn't close on the case. They complain. This is what the patient sees. Okay, so what we have to do, since we know that it doesn't have any other bad adjustments on the frame, since we know that it doesn't have any more adjustments on the frame, we have to use our wide angling plier. Okay, we're gonna close it. I'm gonna go like this. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is, since this one is going down with temples closed with my wide angling plier, I am going to grab onto it here. I'm gonna grab onto it here to apply a little bit of pressure. Okay, right here to apply a little bit of pressure. Temple still closed. Temple still closed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna raise it upwards. So I'm gonna raise up. Okay, see, now it's looking a lot better. Now it's looking a lot better. So now I did this one. I'm gonna do a little bit more on this temple side. So I'm gonna do a little bit more on the left temple. Okay, so I am going to hold it up here a little bit. Let me see. Okay, so I did good on the left side. Now I'm gonna push the right side a little bit down. Before I finish, I do need to double check if I made any misalignments by mistake, because it's always possible. I'll do a little bit more. Okay, now it's beautiful. See? Now it's beautiful. Now it fits on the case perfectly. There is no problem. The patient likes it. They're not complaining. Now, the last thing that I need to do, though, is to check that nothing else, I didn't change anything else to it. So I look at it. It doesn't have any, it has a little bit of temple parallelism here, which I am going to fix right now. Let's see. See, the lens popped out a little bit. So, no, it's not fixed. So I'm going to grab it hard on the end piece, and I am going to push down a little bit. And now it's good again. I will check the temple bend. I am going to fix the left side just a little bit, but just a little bit. The temple that I'm working on should always be closed, never open. So I will push down the wide angling plier just a little bit, just so it's more leveled. Okay, let's see. Okay, now the other side. See? Okay, now that's a lot better again. So again, we have a good temple fold, okay? Fits on the case well. Now we gotta check that we didn't change anything. Okay, everything's good now. There is no temple parallelism. Everything is good, and the temple bend is good. So the patient should be happy and ready to go. And those were temple misalignments on the patient. How to notice them and how to correct them. How to identify them and how to correct them.